Spurs did make it through, and they will be facing Liverpool. Arsenal are also through, and they're going to be taking on Newcastle. Are you happy with how the draw played out, Jules?
I think if you were a Spurs supporter, a Liverpool supporter, an Arsenal supporter, you wanted Newcastle there, even over two legs, home and away. Not that Newcastle are not a good team, but just simply considering their position in the table, for example, in the Premier League, where they have been a bit hit and miss really so far this season. They can be very good at home and not good at all away from home. So of the other three potential teams that you could face, I think Newcastle was the one that a lot of fans and players would have liked to take. So in that sense, I think you wanted to avoid Liverpool and you wanted to get Newcastle, which is what Arsenal have done, and not Spurs.
Let's talk about Arsenal then, if we can, Jules, because obviously they're clearly better since Arteta's been in. But here we see them in a semi-final here. That's a great chance at silverware for them this season. Manchester City are definitely not what they have been in recent seasons in the Premier League. What's the pressure like for Arsenal to scoop some silverware this season?
Well, I think it's big because I think for all the progress that they've made really in those 5 years, and he's changed the club completely, he's transformed the club. It's only one FA Cup to show for, and as you said the other day, two Community Shield, which I'm not sure we can really count as much as proper trophies. So it's not enough, certainly in terms of what return have been made to the club in terms of trophies, and I think he would admit that himself. They were close twice in the league, pushing City all the way, but it's great to compete for the title until the end, but if you don't win it, you just get the chocolate medal. Really, second place is not good. Yes, there's progress, and that's great in terms of results, in terms of performances, how much individually the players are improving, collectively, all of that, the atmosphere within the ground. There's a lot of really good things that have happened in the last 5 years, but at the end of the day, it's also a result business with trophies at the end. So Mikel himself and the team obviously have to start winning.
Yeah, we talk about 5 years because obviously it is Mikel Arteta, 5 years with Arsenal right now. What would be the overall assessment, though, Jules, of what he's achieved in those 5 years?
I think if we do the classic, school markings that we say, like A, B, C, D, etc., etc., we don't do that in France. We do differently. But in England, you do that. I guess a B plus probably, because the lack of trophy, I think, is a bit of a. It's not a problem because there's only one team that can win each competition. But for all the progress that they've made, for how far they've gone since the day he took over 5 years ago, and remember, it was a shambles where they were at 5 years ago before he arrived. I think there's a lot of good things. But yeah, of course, there's a Premier League title missing, for example. There's a better run than last season in the Champions League missing. Yes, for sure. So for me, B plus is probably a fair assessment of what he's done in the last 5 years.
B plus fair for you, Ali?
I think so. You can't give it an A if you don't feel that his teams have achieved the things that they're capable of achieving. And if you go back to what's going on this season, the fact that with Manchester City having the steep, and I mean steep drop-off they've had, the next in line, naturally, given what we have seen over the last couple of seasons, was going to be not Arsenal. What? And so that, we kept saying to ourselves, when we're making the predictions as to who's going to win this league, those that picked Arsenal said, well, look, they have gone through the process and the stages, and here we go, we're climbing the ladder, and we're getting closer and closer, and now it's not happening? What? No, that's not how it's supposed to be. That's not how evolution works. The next thing to happen was for Arsenal to win the title. And now it feels like Liverpool, out of nowhere, with Arne Slot, is saying, no, thanks, no, but no thanks. So it's hard to be disappointed with Mikel Arteta and Arsenal because I think they've done a lot of good things, but it's also hard to be like, oh yeah, go on Arsenal, go on Mikel Arteta, because I don't quite think that they've gotten to that level just yet.
Well, that is a big topic for our football reporters over on our podcast feed, ESPN FC. It's got the football reporters together. It's Rob Dawson, it's Mark Ogden, James Ollie as well, talking about 5 years of Mikel Arteta at Arsenal. That's already dropped. Make sure to go and check it out over on our podcast feed.